everybody, and welcome to the Wrestling Sheet Radio Raw Recap. I'm your host, ProWrestlingSheet.com editor-in-chief Ryan Satin, here with this week's co-host, Norman Quarrington. Quarrington?
I know.
I
it's
meant
a
to
weird
ask again
name.
before. No, it's not a weird name. I knew I was going to get it wrong. I said it I checked last week before we recorded to make sure, and then right as we started this week, I was like, I forgot to double check on the last name. Son of a bitch. Norman, welcome back.
Thanks, I'm back. Hey.
Yeah, Roka is still in the UK, still doing lots of touristy things according to his Instagram and his Twitter page. But man, this week's Raw was jam-packed.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff went down. A lot of big stuff. Good, great. I thought it was a great episode of Raw.
It was a very entertaining episode.
Yeah, it's always nice when you get like an entertaining episode that you're like, man, that's why I watch wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Those are, I mean, obviously there's things you can nitpick here and there, which we will. But like overall, loved it.
Yeah.
There was like real emotion. There was good storylines. There was good action. There was
some good returns. Which were always good.
Which started off the show. The show began with a video package of Roman Reigns announcing that he was going to relinquish the WWE Universal Championship, take time away from WWE to battle leukemia, and then he made his entrance. He had his new remission-related shirt on, and it says, "We fight, we overcome, we believe." And it was an emotional moment. I think that we're so used to Roman Reigns being booed when that music hits.
Yeah.
That I'm really glad that wasn't the case here. I was worried. You never know with
wrestling fans, man. Yeah,
you never know when we're like, depending on where they are.
Or all sports fans, I think.
You never know with people.
Trash people.
Yeah. You never know how people are going to react to anything trashy.
No,
yes.
It was cool. He got a really good reception, and you could tell that he was really feeding off of that. And yeah, he gave a really great speech. It was possibly one of the best promos he's ever done.
It's definitely the best promo he's ever done. And it's because it came from here, which is one of those things which is why people say the wrestlers need to have some of here go into the promo,
He looked happy to be there as well, which was cool.
Yeah. Now, before we get to the promo part of things, he walked around the ring and he was shaking hands with everyone, taking pictures of people, including David Arquette randomly, which was funny. And then, his wife, his mom, The Rock's mom, just his family, and hugging them. And then he comes into the ring and, just like the whole thing, man, like, it was such a real moment, and there's not like a ton of those, especially like a real happy moment like that, you know? I see people, that want to be negative about the situation on social media that are like, well, maybe he had the best kind of cancer you can have, or maybe it wasn't life-threatening, and it's like, bitch, that dude had cancer.
It's like our colleague Vinny said, the best kind of cancer is still cancer.
Yeah, I mean, it's still cancer, and it's like, man, like the fact that...
And he definitely had cancer as well.
He had cancer.
Don't be stupid.
And the fact that he came back from it as quickly as he did is not a negative thing.
Yeah.
It's a super positive thing. Like, people should be happy, not being like... And I know people are, don't tell me how to feel. That's what I get that a lot on social media. Oh, you shouldn't tell me how to feel. Come on, man.
We're not telling you how to feel, but we're telling you you're stupid for feeling that way.
He said it. Not me. But so, yeah. I also, I gotta say, I don't know if it was an impromptu moment or if it was something he was scripted to say. It may have been scripted, but regardless, when he was saying, I missed you guys, and then, there's no other job like this, no other fan base like this, and then everyone started chanting, "This is your yard," and he said that, I used to say it was my yard, but this is our yard.
I think that was ad-libbed.
I feel like that was ad-libbed. I don't know.
It was, and
regardless,
it was
it
sweet.
was so sweet, and it's like, how do you not cheer for that guy now when he says something like that? I mean, he mentioned how, you're kind of like, when you're a WWE star, coming up to the system, like, you're looking out for number one, like, you want to get to the top of the mountain, and now it's just like, he kind of has perspective on his life. I feel like, I don't know how full-time he's coming back.
Yeah.
But regardless, I feel like we're going to see the best version of Roman Reigns we've ever seen now.
And I also feel like when he was being booed before, I feel like a lot of people booing him were just doing it out of habit. You know, it wasn't necessarily because they disliked him that much. It's just like, this is the routine now. Roman gets booed. And now that routine was broken because he went away for a while. And also, you don't boo someone who's battling leukemia.
I'm in remission, y'all.
Yeah,
Boo.
but then even, not to jump ahead too much, but even the pop he got later on in the night was huge too.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And yeah, it's just great to see.
Yes, absolutely. I just think that, you know, the promo itself was just such a good sign of like, that's why they've made him the guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a reason why he's the guy.
Well, here's the thing as well. This is always like, even I've never actually hated Roman, but I think like a lot of wrestling fans, I was disillusioned with how he was being booked for a long time.
Fair.
But there's no way that you can not look at him and not say that he should be a top guy.
Totally.
Just by looking at him. He's like $1 million. He looks like a Greek god.
He looks like Jason Momoa.
Yeah, and he's of everyone on the roster has the most potential probably to cross over to mainstream. Exactly. He's a star. And even if you go and watch his old FCW NXT stuff, you can see that he's like $1 million.
It's funny you mentioned some people booing Roman Reigns just to boo him. It kind of feels like sometimes, and it's funny. I was talking to my girlfriend last night about it, and I was saying how we were talking about the same situation about how like it's nice to see him get cheered for once. And she was like, "Why did they start booing him to begin with?" You know, and I was like, "It was really from that CM Punk interview." And she was like, "What CM Punk interview?" That was when it. You don't think that's when it was?
Maybe,
because
I definitely don't think it helped.
If my memory serves me correctly, we were all cheering Roman Reigns that year when he eliminated all those people from the Royal Rumble.
Well,
people were like pumped. He was like the silent guy in the Shield. People were like pumped that he was like, oh, man, Roman Reigns is cool. I like that guy.
He might be right.
And then he did the CM Punk interview, or he did the CM Punk to the interview with Colt Cabana.
Gotta make Roman look strong.
And he said the make Roman look strong thing, and he said the Ryback stupid thing.
Yeah.
And when he said those two things,
people turned on those two guys. Yeah.
They turned on Roman Reigns, and they started saying, oh, make Roman look strong. It's Vince's guy. No one would have ever known he was Vince's guy until that interview happened.
Yeah, and so when they were making Roman look strong in those Shield matches, people were loving it.
People were loving it. Yeah. And then, it was that interview. And same with Ryback. When he was squashing Enhancement Talent 2 dudes at a time, and then Feed Me More, people were loving it. Yeah. And then it was like... And then CM Punk was like...
Punk buried him.
Punk was like, oh, he said he was stupid backstage for hurting people and blah, blah. Stupid chance, always at Ryback, dude. It was like instant. People loved CM Punk at the time. I remember I was sitting there playing video games when that interview dropped.
Yeah.
I was like sitting on my couch playing a video game, and it was like new episode of Art of Wrestling, and it said with CM Punk, and I was like, ooh. Yeah. And I just instantly started listening to it. I remember like right when it went out, and I just sat there like, whoa.
It was like a 2-parter, wasn't it, or something?
If I recall, it
might have even been more than 2 parts.
It was a crazy interview, definitely, and it's why they were in court for so long over it. But I really do feel like I feel like there's no way Roman's gonna get booed by people after this, right? I say that, but we already talked about the garbage people in general.
Yeah, you never know. But I doubt if his character stays as it is, because obviously you never know what they're going to do with that. Although I doubt they're going to turn him heel or anything anytime soon.
No way, not at this point.
Yeah, I can't see him being booed in the foreseeable future. That's for sure.
No, I not. At least not in mass as it was.
No, you'll probably get pockets of people who are just bored or whatever.
Drunk.
Yeah, drunk idiots. Yeah.
Excuse me. He said the announcement. He said he's in remission, and then he also said the big dog is back, but he didn't really specify what that meant. I had heard that it's because they're still figuring it out. I think that I mean, obviously, if he goes back on the road full time, it's gonna wear down his immune system again.
Yeah,
so
for sure,
they kind of, I'm sure he's gonna have a lighter schedule now.
Yeah, for sure. I would hope so. But he did allude to WrestleMania.
He did. He had that moment
sort of
when he was-
accidentally as well. I feel like.
I think it was
do you
more.
think it was planned?
Yeah.
Okay.
The fact that he was staring at the WrestleMania sign couldn't have been a coincidence.
Okay,
Right?
Yeah.
I know he didn't point
Because the crowd was chanting like WrestleMania, and then he was like, "Oh, we'll get to that." They didn't get to that, but maybe I think he meant in a few weeks we'll get to that.
Yeah. And you know what I think they're gonna do? I think we're gonna get Dean versus Roman at WrestleMania.
I can see that.
Because
maybe
I don't think they're gonna inject Roman into the main event storyline. One, because he's homies with Seth, and Seth's getting his big match. Two,
he's probably just not ready for it.
might not be ready for it. And three, how do you not have that main event? I mean, how do you not have Roman regaining the Universal Championship main event of the show? But this is finally the first chance where the women are going to main event the show.
Yeah.
So it's like a real catch-22 there. Like
for sure.
For once, you have like a built-in main event with Roman there, but like you've been going down this road, and fans are going to be pissed if the women don't main event this year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I think it would make sense to do the Dean Ambrose thing, especially since and we'll get into what happened with Dean later in the show. But when the speech was over and Roman walked down the ramp, then he met Seth at the top, and the Seth and him embraced. But it wasn't Dean like when he left.
No.
So even though, like I said, we'll discuss it. We'll get to I'll put a pin in that until we discuss the next part that happened later in the show.
Of course.
So then next we had the Revival versus Aleister Black and Ricochet in a non-title match. Now, obviously, this is playing off of last week where the Revival lost to the other NXT duo of Johnny Gargano and Ciampa. And God, I didn't even realize how short this match was. It felt long.
It was short but good.
Yeah, that's weird because I liked it, and I just looked at how short it was. That's crazy. It was 2 minutes of television time. I like that.
Oh, so they wrestled while
They wrestled
on break
and stuff like that. But yeah, okay, so 2 minutes of television time. My thing is this though. I saw Sean Rouse Sat from Fightful said this as well. I don't know how that's.
How you have the Raw Tag Champs lose 2 weeks in a row?
Yeah.
To new people?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who those new people are. I still think, obviously all four of those guys are great and have been wrestling for a long time. But I don't think you can have your tag champions job in 2 weeks in a row, man.
And everyone was so pumped of the Revival, they're finally getting that push to get the tag titles, and they've lost 2 weeks in a row since.
Yeah,
and you're
exactly.
like, what the
Why
hell?
not have them? Yeah, why didn't they just wait?
Even if it's in singles competition, have them lose. Just like the actual tag champions losing is frustrating 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Also, was there any sign of Johnny Gargano and Ciampa last night after they beat the tag champions?
Yeah, no.
Shouldn't they have been asking for a title shot?
Yeah.
I was real confused about that.
I guess they're going to be on SmackDown tonight, right? Or something like that.
Did they announce that? It's Johnny versus Cesaro.
That's the one. Okay.
Yeah. You're right. Still,
they should still be like, hey, we beat them too. We won.
Even a promo. Promo. And spoiler, NXT spoiler alert here.
NXT spoilers, tune out now if you don't want NXT spoilers.
Push 30-second button a few times if you're podcasting. But DIY are in the Dusty Classic, and so are Aleister Black and Ricochet. I don't think those four were announced yet in the official announcement that went out.
I don't think so.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But I don't think this is all just in an effort to promote the Dusty Classic, though. It's not like Vince cares about that. That he wants to get these teams over to help make people watch the Dusty Classic. No way, you know? So, yeah, it doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense to have them lose. I also don't know if, DIY gained a little bit by beating the tag champions, but if there's no follow-up from it, and there's no promo from them, there's not them getting a title shot, who gained from that? Did they really gain from that, Johnny and Ciampa? They were on a random Raw that got really zero reaction from the crowd, even though it was a great match, and now they're just back to they're not there.
And then I guess it's to make them look good to casual fans. But do casual fans care if anyone beats the Revival after how the Revival have been booked for the last, year or whatever?
Exactly.
I don't know. It's just weird to me.
It's weird. It's that whole 50-50 booking in the middle thing where, and this is in the Revival's case, not necessarily 50-50 since they lost 2 weeks in a row, but it's that same keeping everyone in the middle thing. And I didn't really understand that.
Having DIY beat the Bar. Did DIY beat the Bar?
Yes.
Was that last week?
Yep.
Okay, that is good. Because
Yes.
the Bar are like
Held
one
in
of
high
the,
esteem.
Yeah, held in high esteem. They're strong. They can go. And they're not the champions.
And they're big dudes.
Yeah,
so
and
like
they're big
beating those
dudes.
big dudes was really impressive.
Yeah. But they're not champs. But they have been champs. So beating them doesn't really do them any harm. But it does make the people who beat them look really good, which is not necessarily the case with the DIY situation. Although it did, obviously, it makes Ricochet and Aleister Black look good, but it just made the Revival look like absolute chumps.
Yeah.
2 weeks in a row. When their whole thing, because you can be a champ and be a bit of a chump, but Revival's whole thing is that they're not chumps. Their gimmick is that they're super like sly and clever and can outwit people, and they're like the best tag team, and they don't lose to people who aren't tag teams. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's funny because like it's like that seems like a very simple concept to understand. Yeah. Like even if they cheat to protect themselves, something. Like I really didn't get the logic behind that.
However, it was all uphill from there. Like that was the low point of the show. Like we're talking about how good the show was, and now we're complaining a lot. But like
that is why I said, I'll be honest with you, when I talked at the beginning and I said, I'm sure there are things we can nitpick about. Yeah. We're gonna nitpick about something. It was this I had in my mind because this was the only thing that frustrated me in the show. I really, really enjoyed the show. This is one of the only things that bothered me because it was like, okay, you had the Revival lose last week. Maybe there's something there. Oh, you're not even going to mention the team that beat them or anything, or you're not even going to they're not even watching Backstage. Bobby, Roode, and Gable are watching Backstage, who no one is paying attention to at this point.
Yeah. Like, and I don't want to be complaining about Ricochet and Aleister Black being on WWE television.
Or winning on WWE
television. So there you go.
I know. You're right. You're very right in that regard. I hate that it makes me frustrated.
Yeah.
And I will say
it was bad.
They did because you mentioned that. I should say you're right. I do think that they showcased Ricochet and Aleister Black well.
Oh, for sure.
Ricochet was doing cool shit. That moonsault, that like golden triangle type moonsault thing, and just that the fade to black or whatever at the end looked, or black mass.
Black mass. It looked great.
It looked awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, at the time that they were in the ring. Also, I liked that Arn Anderson, where he went to go punch Aleister Black, and Aleister Black ducked his head, and then he DDT'd Aleister Black.
That was great.
I saw Brian the Guppy on Twitter did like a comparison kind of thing where you could see exactly looking like Arn Anderson. I was like, oh, that's really cool. He did a little Arn Anderson move there. So I liked the wrestling. The decision making behind that was very confusing in my opinion. I'm frustrated that Roka's not here because this next part with Charlie Caruso. Okay, first of all, I was trying to say this. Charlie Caruso is becoming one of my favorite characters.
I know exactly
show.
what you're talking about. And it's so funny you said it because I thought the same thing yesterday. I was like, she's good.
She is starting to kill it. The fact that maybe it's due to, a disdain for the media, and they're thinking they're painting Charlie in a negative light, and maybe it's because I'm someone who works in news, so I'm liking it. But it seems like they're trying to paint her in a negative light as like a too hardcore of a news person. But I am loving it, because she's actually asking questions that you would want someone to ask in that scenario. I know it's scripted, but still, I would. Even in a movie, I'd be like, why wouldn't that character?
Exactly, yeah.
Why would they run upstairs when they're being chased by someone with a knife? Like one of those horror things. So it's very similar where I'm like, why wouldn't you just ask that why wouldn't they have asked that very simple question, So,
exactly.
I am.
She's like Lois Lane.
Yeah, very much so. And I like this Baron Corbin thing where she talked about how he had made fun of Roman Reigns for battling leukemia. And then Baron Corbin said he had never said those things. I didn't
say that.
And she was like, well, I'll cut to the footage if you want. And he was like, okay. Well,
He's like, you're dwelling on the past. Yeah. And I never said that anyway.
I really like that. That's why I said I wish Roka had been here because I had a positive thing to say about Baron Corbin there.
Yeah. I kind of like Baron Corbin.
He is growing on. I think he's growing on everyone.
I like him because I feel like he's self-aware. Like, I feel like he knows that he's a bit rubbish.
And I think they were using him too much.
For sure, he was getting way too much screen time. For a while there. Yeah.
Absolutely, and he is good in doses when he's used in the correct manner. So then we saw Shawn Michaels backstage with Johnny Gargano preparing for the Ric Flair birthday party. I I love that Shawn Michaels is Mr. NXT now. It's great.
Yeah, he's showing up.
He's like always. I like no matter what he's doing, he has some kind of NXT gear on, like a hat, shirt, even if it's a patch on his tights.
He's
like
a team player.
Yeah, he's like. I like that NXT is as like DX territory now. It's like no, we lord over NXT, DXT,
And they kept cutting to this was like the red carpet thing that they were doing, right? Is this what you're talking about?
Yes.
This was fun. They kept cutting to this and just showing people arriving like it was the Oscars the night before.
Totally.
Which was clever.
I liked Sting showing up, even though it was brief, I will say that where are we? I'll wait till we get there. I'll wait till we get there. So then the next we had Elias. Elias was on his stool, started to play the guitar, and Lacey Evans did her thing, interrupting and then walking away. Dean Ambrose then comes out and says that he wanted to issue another challenge to Drew McIntyre, making it a no DQ match. Then Elias started playing the guitar. And another Oscar nod. Ambrose asked if Elias was trying to play him off the stage.
Oh yeah. They made a few AC/DC references as well, right?
They did. And then dirty deeds and stuff like that. So he went away. Right? How did it end? Right? Ambrose. Oh, then he did hit the dirty deeds.
Yeah, he went to hit him with the guitar. Elias went to hit him with the guitar, and he ducked, and then he hit him with the dirty deeds.
There you go. Didn't really. I mean, I don't know. I didn't really like. The only thing that really furthered is that it made sense for Elias to come out later in the night to join the bad guys' attack on Dean Ambrose.
And man, Ambrose is getting a lot of mic time for someone that's leaving very soon, right?
Right?
Yeah, it's weird.
It's weird, right?
Yeah, it is.
It's very weird.
Yeah.
That he's getting such a push like this on the way out, and everyone's like, well, maybe they're trying to make him happy. What?
He is losing a lot, but also, I don't know. He's getting a lot of screen time and a lot of mic time.
I have a lot.
We'll get there.
I have a lot to say about that, but I want to save that for when we get to that part of the show, because that whole segment said a lot to me. So we'll get to that.
Okay.
Next we had Ronda Rousey, Natalya versus the Riot Squad.
I just want to comment on this really quickly. I still don't understand why Ronda Rousey and Natty are like. Why are we supposed to like? They always act like they're best friends, and you know that they're best friends. But like, why are they friends?
It
like,
makes no sense.
I don't know. I'm not saying they shouldn't be friends, but it's not. I don't immediately think of Natalya whenever you mention Ronda Rousey. They're not synonymous with each other, but they try and act like they are all the time.
My problem is that every time something happens to Ronda Rousey, Natalya is there to save her.
Yeah.
Anytime something happens to Natalya, Ronda's is nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
She's just like, where's Ronda? And Natty just getting the shit kicked out of her, being thrown through a table that has her dead dad's image on it, and Ronda's just backstage taping up her fucking gloves or something.
And Natty is... I personally think Natty is so much better as a bad guy, like as a heel.
I love
like
heel
when
Natty,
when she's walking down that ramp and she's like smiling. It just looks really dumb to me.
Yeah, no, I like when she's like dominatrix mode, like angry. I'm a big fan
and
of
it's
that.
Like,
one.
yeah, we get it. You like cats.
Sorry, I was reading this text message I got. Not important. So I thought it was
important to you.
Important to me. Yeah. So then, she hits the Piper's Pit. There was that cool moment. I did like when Natty picked up Ruby Riott, held her up on the outside. Right? Sorry. When she held up Liv Morgan on the outside, and then Ronda Rousey came running and ran up the steps and did kind of like a heart attack-like move on the outside.
Shout out to Liv Morgan as well, because I think Liv Morgan's great.
She's the best.
Yeah.
Oh, she's
like,
great.
At what she does.
Oh,
Yeah.
She's got like the best facial expressions.
For sure.
I think she's going to be one of the kind of like the main centerpieces of the women's division.
Yeah.
She's still so young.
Yeah, exactly.
She's so great
really
for how young she is. Yeah. So, all this goes down, but then Becky Lynch arrives through the crowd, and I loved where she comes through. She's got her cool Kill Bill, Bruce Lee like gear on or whatever.
She looks like a tire. Yeah. She's dressed like a Pirelli tire.
But I like how she came out, and besides like the two initial security guards, you should see Natty go like, hey, come on, Becky. Like, she does like a whole like, hey, come on, Becky. And
Yeah.
she's just like, man, boom. And she forearmed Becky
Lays her
Natalia
out.
right in the face, instantly laid her out. Love
She laid out that security guard real fast as well. He went down like a sack of spuds, man. He was gone.
And I also like, you got all the agents coming in and breaking them up. And then I like how like Adam Pearce was like super raw agent where he had like red shirt, red shoes. He was like super red out.
And they haven't acknowledged that he's Adam Pearce, right?
No, they never really.
They never even say Finley or anything, do they? No.
I feel like they did say Finley when Becky during the
the
Royal Rumble.
Okay.
But they never really explained why he would have that authority whatsoever.
I feel like back in the day, they would always, when Sergeant Slaughter would come out or whatever, they'd always.
knew what kind of authority he had.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
They should clarify that a little bit. Because like when Finley came out and like let Becky get in the Rumble, they should clarify and say, oh, well, Finley is like,
in charge of the women's division.
Yeah, he's in charge
backstage.
of these decisions now, just let people know.
Yeah,
That's all.
I agree. I feel like there's details like that are sorely missed. But so then Becky comes in, she's fighting with Ronda with the crutch, and she gets taken away. Okay, so this part I enjoyed.
Yeah, I like this a lot.
I like this. The crowd went nuts when Becky came
beating
out.
people up with crutches is awesome all the time. Do it all the time.
It really is. I can't disagree with you there. The whole Becky Lynch crutch leather outfit thing, it's
She's
fun to watch.
Proper hitting people as well.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's
Yeah,
great.
and she just seems like a badass, man. Like she has that Conor McGregor swag, where it's like when Conor was throwing the
trash can at the bus.
Exactly. Wasn't it like a railing at the bus? Or was
something
it a trash
like that.
can?
I
One
feel
of
like
the two.
maybe
Something that you shouldn't have been throwing at a bus.
It was something he shouldn't have been doing, but he was definitely doing it.
So then Rousey was still in the ring when we come back from the break, and things, I don't know if they were quite as hot here, but
the Steph and Ronda thing.
Yeah.
What they were saying, I thought what was being said was good, and like on paper, I think that would have looked good. But they gave Ronda a little bit too much to say, and she kind of like was struggling a little bit on the mic there.
I'm a big Ronda Rousey fan, but she was not emoting the right things there. Like the emotion behind what she was saying wasn't quite
I feel
there.
like she did a good job of hitting most of the beats after working a match, but they still just gave her a little bit too much to say. Some of that stuff Steph could have just said. You know?
So Stephanie comes out. She and Rousey demands. First, she tells Stephanie to reinstate Becky Lynch for WrestleMania at her wit's end. Rousey said, she said, drop the charges. Everyone wants this. This is what everyone wants. And like Stephanie said, no. Your WrestleMania opponent is Charlotte Flair. Like, I liked all that. It's
a hard no.
It's a hard no. Becky Lynch is on the road to jail. All that stuff. But she really like the whole like you don't control me, all that kind of stuff. I get where they were going with it because it does make sense. And it's very much like what you just said. On paper, like it really does make sense. It just also, not only was it just like the acting behind it wasn't great.
Yeah.
I don't know if people are going to cheer for someone who says like, I'm so rich, I don't need you guys.
Well, that's exactly, yeah. I was thinking that too, yeah.
Like that's not really like a good guy thing to say.
Well, we can't have the two people in the feud, both of them can't be rebelling against authority.
True.
Like, that's kind of silly.
Agreed.
Like, one person needs to, I don't know. And now Charlotte's in the mix too. I don't know. Maybe there can be two.
I don't think it works, though, as much. Like, we don't want to see rebellious Ronda Rousey. We want to see rebellious Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
I'm not saying that Ronda has to fall in line and do whatever she's told or whatever like that, but she's making, like, a big point of, saying that you
laying
guys...
the belt down.
Yeah, laying the belt down and all that stuff, yeah.
Very Rufio-esque from Hook, where she's laid it down or whatever. I just felt like something was off here. I felt like
it was close to being decent, but it was... Just,
100%. Like you said, 100%. If someone pitched this to me, I'm like, that sounds great, probably.
probably.
Something just didn't quite fit. I liked that we saw Stephanie carrying the belt later, though. Like the real Raw Women's Champion.
Like cradling it like an abandoned child, like Moses.
Yeah, so this was like a hit animus for me, this segment. Like the Becky stuff was great. The idea of what they were trying to do was good. Just the execution. The execution just was a little off for me.
Yeah.
But it's not like that offensive to me, and it's easily got back on track.
Yeah.
Although with the title being like, oh, I meant to look. Is the title officially vacated right now? Because it'll have the old vacant thing there, right? I've been wondering.
Interesting. You're going on the Wikipedia or the website?
The website.
That's a good idea.
No, Ronda's still listed as women's champion. So she hasn't officially. She's not. She's still officially the champion.
Maybe she just vacated the symbol, the physical like embodiment of the title, but she still wants to be considered the champion. But she was saying that the belt is, she said, gaudy, right?
Something like that. Yeah.
Which I feel like, I know Pritchard's only been there a day, but that reeked of Bruce Pritchard.
Yeah, let's talk about that before we get to the end. A lot of the people did seem to think that
they were giving him too much credit.
The speculation all over the internet was this episode being so good. Well, it coincided with Bruce Pritchard being back. It's the Pritchard effect, you know? And I don't know if that's not the case.
Yeah.
But I will say it's been,
I think he might have been getting a little bit too much credit. I'm sure that there were a couple of decisions that he contributed to, but I don't think that he arrived and Vince was like, you're in charge of the whole show.
Exactly.
Plan out every single shot, beat for beat,
Especially since, obviously the Ric Flair stuff has been in the works for a while. The Ric Flair birthday celebration thing. And I think people forget. WWE is usually awesome as WrestleMania starts to get closer.
Yeah, it does always get way more interesting and watchable in the road to WrestleMania just before Rumble. And then maybe a couple of weeks after Mania.
So it really kicks into high gear. Yeah. So, So I don't know if I really think that he was the savior of this episode, Pritchard. But I would like to think that he did help. That'd be awesome.
The word gaudy in Ronda's promo was 100% Bruce Pritchard. 100%.
So then we had Kurt Angle versus Jinder Mahal. Well, first Jinder Mahal came out and he was mad he wasn't invited to the birthday party. Challenged anyone who was invited to Ric Flair's birthday party to a match. Kurt Angle comes out.
Anyone who was invited.
Anyone who was invited. Yeah.
Ricky Steamboat.
Oh, man. Here's my thing. And then he beat Jinder Mahal in 3 minutes.
Angle did, yeah.
Yeah.
He tapped out, right?
Tapped out, yeah. Ankle lock. My thing is this. I don't like the lackadaisical nature of Kurt Angle's place on the roster right now. It's like, is he there because he's a legend who's there for Ric Flair's birthday?
Yeah.
Or is he there because he's part of the roster now because he's kind of been doing stuff
Yeah, they haven't
sporadically?
really clarified that, have they?
No,
they
need to get him randomly.
They need to get him in a WrestleMania program as soon as possible, really, I think.
You agree, right? I feel the same way.
Definitely. Like, next Monday, they need to get the ball rolling on that, I think.
Is there anyone that stands out to you? I thought it was going to be Drew McIntyre.
Oh, okay.
I thought they were finally going to kind of pay off the whole, Drew McIntyre trying to retire
anyone
him.
on Raw? Not really. I don't know. I'd like to see him wrestle Chad Gable, to be honest. I'd like to see those two have a match.
It's not going to happen, but I would much rather... I would love that.
Other than that, I don't know.
It's tough.
No one jumping out to me. I'm sure they'll figure something out.
I'm sure something will happen. So then we had a moment of bliss. Alexa Bliss making sexual jokes with Finn Balor again. It's interesting how they're kind of making that part of her character.
She's horny. Alexa Bliss is horny now. That's her thing.
Alexa Bliss is horny now.
She's single and ready to mingle. But
yeah, it is kind of like what they're pushing for her.
It's weird, but she's doing it really well.
Yes.
She is great at that stuff.
Yes. Yeah, but I mean, you can't put a horny person next to Finn Balor.
No. Or EC3.
Or
Silly.
EC3.
You can't put horny people next to all those abs.
No. And Finn did play it off so well as like the coolest guy in school the whole time he was there.
Yeah, he was good.
I loved Mopey Leo coming out to interrupt them.
Leo Rush is bloody brilliant.
Right?
He is so good at this. Like he's been cocky and he's done that really well. And now he's like mopey, sad, emo Leo. When he was like, "Oh, just play my music then."
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
Just whatever, just play it then. Fine.
And then he got like 5 steps and then they started playing Balor's music. It was so funny.
And he looked all annoyed and then Finn did like the what? Me then? Yeah.
That was great.
That was
hilarious.
great. You know what's funny is that I like that Velveteen Dream and Leo used to be tag team partners like early in their career.
Maryland Championship Wrestling, which was my local promotion when I lived in Silver Spring, Maryland.
There you go.
It was still like an hour away, but still,
you got to go. I like that they used to be tag team partners, and they both just seem to get wrestling. They both just understand wrestling so well. Leo's grasp on just kind of like his character is great.
They're both 23 or something like that. It's insane. They both act. They don't seem like it. Neither of them wrestles like it. They seem like they've been in the business for longer than they have.
Totally.
Yeah, Leo's great, and then he had a match with Finn Balor. It was great,
which is great. And I'm wondering if they're going to start letting him kind of wrestle more. He's been wrestling more on Raw. I think he has to impress someone.
Maybe I'm not 100% on this.
We're not quoting you here, don't worry.
I can see. I would like to see him maybe. I know he's such a good heel, but maybe he's going to turn face on,
I've been wondering that too.
On Lashley.
I've been wondering that
they're
myself.
Certainly sowing those seeds, and that would be cool.
I've fully been wondering that myself. I don't think they need to do it, though. I actually disagree.
Yeah.
I think he's so good at being a heel that it's like...
I feel like they need to cut him loose from Lashley soonish. If he's going to stay a heel, he should be doing solo stuff. Although he is such a good manager as well. That's the thing. Manager. Yeah.
I'd at least make them like a tag team, like an
actual tag
team. Put them in the tag team division for real. Mm-hmm. They'd be a really good tag team, I think, together. That's what I would do. I don't know.
But it is crazy that Leo Rush is having Intercontinental Championship matches on Raw.
Very much so. I think the fact that he has, wrestled for the Intercontinental Championship before some of the other, guys his size that got signed, or even not his size that got signed, that are bigger. That says a lot to his character and his ability and, stuff, and everything like that.
Someone back there likes him.
Totally.
I think it's probably more than one person, and they're right.
I think it's probably Vince.
Yeah, Vince must like him.
I mean, there's really only one person that's really making decisions. So, So then we had that weird segment with Heavy Machinery and the Ascension.
Okay. Bad, but also funny. Otis is hilarious.
I didn't want to hate on it too much because I saw other people seem to have enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Jamie, my co-host on Wrestling Sheet Radio, he texted the group chat and was just like, I've watched Otis yelling cheese and then hitting the Ascension probably 10 times now.
Cheese!
Cheese!
And then he's like, ball and ball!
Whatever. I won't hate on it too much.
If it was Otis and three guys who were a bit better at that, then the segment would have been great. But I think the Ascension and what's the other Heavy Machinery's guy's name?
Tucker.
Those three are still, I think. Well, Tucker's still figuring stuff out. The Ascension are like fun sometimes.
I would have just preferred them walking in on the conversation because I felt like the disconnect part for me was like the Tucker part in the beginning where he's like, well,
where's your friend?
Don't talk about my friend. You wouldn't like him when he's angry type thing. Like he's Hulk. And then like Otis came in with like his weird like, what? Asa. I didn't dislike it. It made me laugh.
Otis is funny.
Otis is great. Then we had Braun have his entrance. Lashley attacked him, then beat him and Lashley and Leo up and walked away. Not really sure what this accomplished, really. I guess they're kind of like pushing that. I mean, maybe it's going to be like the Shield and Braun
that's what
versus
it seemed
all
like, because these little
guys.
factions are coming. Yeah, because then Elias joined in with the other guys, right? Like a bit later.
Yeah.
It's weird. They've been all over the place with Strowman, man.
Yeah, man. They've really done no favors to Braun Strowman.
Nah.
Like, he was on track to become, like, a huge deal, and they have really fanned those flames.
They had... Yeah.
He was like my favorite thing to watch on the show.
Me
not
too,
long
for a
ago.
long time. And
I almost couldn't even pay attention to this last night.
They can't make up their mind if they want him to be a good guy or a bad guy. So whatever they need, they just have him switch whenever.
Brock Lesnar being there has been a big disservice to Braun Strowman, I think,
For
because
sure.
he would be in that
be
role
in that
of like
spot, but be on
unbeatable.
TV every week.
Yeah, but be on
Yeah.
TV, but instead they've got to keep Brock Lesnar strong. You know?
And they had Lesnar squash him at the Saudi Arabia show, right? Was that? Yeah.
So then we had Drew McIntyre versus Dean Ambrose, no DQ match. Dean 2 belts, where he randomly had the second belt on.
Oh, my wife was very happy about that gif going around with him pulling his belt off and then having another one on.
I liked all of Renee's comments during Dean Ambrose's match, where it was like she mentioned the 2 belts, and then and then Graves said like, "Well, you probably dressed him tonight," and she was like, "I did not.
I did not."
And then there was another thing she said too. She was kind of like, "Why would you?" Or she yelled. It was when Drew McIntyre was running at Dean Ambrose with the stairs, and she yelled, "Move out of the way!"
Yeah, she was like,
"Move!" And then he did, and he did the drop toe hold, which I loved.
Which was cool. That was a good little spot.
Yeah, totally. But I will say this, man. Everything going on with Dean Ambrose has made no sense to me.
It's been inconsistent.
Inconsistent. I get it that maybe it's because he's leaving or because they were gonna turn him heel, but then
Plans changed, I think.
they did turn him heel, and then they realized, well, crap, Roman might be
Roman's
coming
coming back.
back. We might want to do this while we have the opportunity before he leaves. But the beatdown at the end, okay, so it ended with the beatdown. The, Elias, Corbin, Lashley,
McIntyre.
and Dean's laying there. They're beating him up, and the Shield comes out. And the Shield help Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose, who has mocked. Well, they didn't like bro fist him.
Yeah,
that sounded
but
weird. They didn't fist bump him. They didn't fist bump him. They didn't like. Yes,
They came out separately as well.
I understand they came out separately.
Yeah.
They also
They're
had
holding
that
off on it.
moment at the top of the stage where clearly it was like, hey, shit's not good between us. But it was very much like a older brother situation where it was like, we can beat up on Dean. Dean is our little brother.
Yeah.
We're gonna go help our homie because he's part of the crew.
Yeah.
But shit's not good.
Mm-hmm.
I get that's the story they're trying to tell. Probably because I think they're gonna try and do Dean versus Roman at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Roman wins. They reconcile. Then they help Seth at the end of the night put away the beast for good.
Yeah.
And they finally write Brock off or something like that. Maybe. I don't know if that's the case, but that's my guess, right?
It makes too much sense.
It makes too much sense
for them to do it.
You're right. But I feel like, and I know they had that fun moment that I enjoyed last week where Dean was like, "Where were you? Where were you?" But I just felt like it was such like a glaring, just a glaring gap, logic gap of just like that guy mocked your cancer.
Let him get beaten up a bit.
Let him get beaten up. He mocked your cancer, dude. Like, I don't care if he was like sad that you were gonna go away. He mocked your cancer and then beat up your guys' best friend and didn't give a shit about you. Like, I know that it's a storyline, but in storyline, that's what we've been led to believe. Now it's just like, well, that's just Dean. We drink brews. No. Have some continuity, you know?
We're bros.
So that frustrated me. That one was really frustrating. But I do think that we're getting Seth versus Dean.
They've got time,
Dean versus Roman.
Dean and Roman at Mania.
Mania.
They've got time to. They've got a bit of time to fix the Dean situation, I think.
Do they?
So, I mean, storyline
I guess I
wise.
shouldn't say do they. I should say can they? Can they fix
they?
Dean Ambrose? Like, yes, some of the things he's doing are entertaining me, but the whole booking of Dean Ambrose is very confusing. It's like they're pushing him, but he's losing, and
That
then
is
it's
weird,
like
yeah.
it's like he's a dick, but he's not. He's kooky Dean Ambrose, and I don't get the logic behind it.
The only thing I can, and then if they are teasing and then we eventually are going to get like a Shield reunion at WrestleMania, I don't know what that means for Ambrose's status. You know, like, are they doing that because they know they're not going to get a chance to do it again for a long time if he does leave? Or are they doing it because he's staying? You know, does that make, do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Absolutely. That's what I've been wondering in the whole storyline. I've been wondering that since they announced he was leaving. And then now more so with Roman being back. Okay, so before we run out of time, we had Bayley versus Nia Jax. Not a bad match. but it wasn't like a great match or anything like that. It was what it was.
No.
Right?
Yeah, I liked Bailey going over.
I liked Bailey going over. They got to get the tag team champs over. I really would have preferred a tag match, though. Like, you're trying to get over that you have a tag division.
They should be doing a thing where they're, like, defending them every week or something like that.
They should do like Cena did with the Open Challenge.
Yeah.
And just say, hey, we're taking all challengers.
Well, then that gives you an excuse to have NXT people come in and stuff like that.
And it gives you a way into the WrestleMania match against a possible Legends duo.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah.
That's what I would like to see. Okay, so lastly, let's get here because we only got a few minutes left. Ric Flair's birthday celebration. So we have the rosters out, the Authority comes out. They then introduce a bunch of legends: Ricky Steamboat, Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle, Sting. They all come to the ring. And then they announce Ric Flair. But where is he? Where's Ric Flair?
His music hits, but he's nowhere to be seen.
Nowhere to be seen. No Nature Boy. And then we get the coolest surprise of the night, which was Batista dragging a camera guy across the floor to come over to Ric Flair's dressing room, shot in a cool way that we don't normally see.
We implied that there is another cameraman hiding in fear, like cowering in fear behind like a crate or something, you know, the stuff they have backstage, just filming Batista's crimes. But you don't have to, because Batista's already got a cameraman with him. He wants people to see his crimes.
Totally. I actually like how I've slowly noticed them integrating people. I feel like we're seeing the camera guy more than we've seen in the past. They're showing camera guys more, like that we're supposed to know they're there.
I like it when they do that. When they acknowledge that it is a television show. TV show, and there are cameramen there.
It makes it feel more real, as opposed to like a scripted thing.
I mean, it's like they'll have, you know, when they have like really private conversations. It's like, why are you doing this in front of TV cameras, stuff like that. And you're
like with the hotel thing with Mandy Rose and Jimmy Uso, where you're like, there's a camera right there.
And sometimes they can get away with it. Sometimes it can be crazy and funny, and they can get away with it. And there's like certain situations where that stuff is good and funny, and it can work. You know, like broken Matt Hardy stuff like that kind of thing. But yeah, on WWE Raw, I like it when they go more realistic with it.
Me too, absolutely. So we see Batista, then we see him go into Ric Flair's dressing room. We hear some banging around or whatever, and then we see Batista just dragging old poor 70-year-old Ric Flair by his jacket out on the ground, unconscious. Throws him down on the ground and says, "Hey Hunter, do I have your attention now?"
Looks square in the camera.
Huh? I had to leave that pause.
He was doing some real Hollywood acting there as well.
I was saying that during Collider Live. You could see the improvement in his acting just in that small moment, and how he was able to chew that scene up with the small amount of time he had. He played it up so well, and it was intense. I like that he had the blue glasses and the blue nose ring.
Yeah. Bautista.
And he's angry, you know, and he doesn't like being ignored.
He looks in really good shape, as he has done for a long time. I don't think he's ever been in bad shape. It was great to see him back. That whole segment I thought was awesome. I told you my wife's not a wrestling fan, but even she popped for that, because even she knows who Dave Bautista is. I liked it a lot. And I was not expecting them to bring him back as a heel. I mean, I'm assuming that that's what they've done.
Yeah, I guess I saw that's like the big question. I don't know. I mean, it's interesting because I cheered for it at home. Too. So I don't know if you can really look at it as a bad guy.
If there's any old man that you can beat up and not look like a bad guy for doing it, it's Ric Flair, right?
Yes. That's how I thought. That's how I looked at it, you know? I don't think people are going to be necessarily booing Dave Bautista. I just don't.
Nah.
Not at this point.
I can't see him being booed now.
Especially after how cool that was. Like, I also think that, you know, WWE has seen that people like the asshole right now, too. The Becky Lynches, the Ciampas, the Daniel Bryan. And it's like, well, yeah, have him kick the shit out of Ric Flair. Have it implied that he just beat the shit out of Ric Flair. People will go ape shit for it, you know? Everyone was sitting there waiting for Becky Lynch to do it so they could cheer. You know? So it's no different. Like, you know, like if Becky Lynch had done that, everyone would have cheered. No one would be like, well, Becky Lynch is a heel for beating up Ric Flair.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So I don't think he's going to be in the heel in all this, especially because, you know, I think a large portion of the audience has now seen the kind of the story that we did a year ago where he got ghosted. You know,
Yeah.
Triple H ghosted Batista when he's been wanting to come back. He's been actively going out there trying to come back, and WWE's been ghosting him.
Yeah.
And I like that they're going to play off of that.
They're acknowledging it,
that.
yeah.
Like, hey,
It's
I had to
clever.
beat up Ric Flair to go to WrestleMania. I'm going to do it. Screw you. I love that.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
Yeah, I like that things worked out. I'm glad. I don't think that AEW was ever going to be an actual contender, even though they were expressing interest.
It was good to stir it up a little bit, though, I think. It was clever of him to do that.
Well, it was clever of them to post that picture for sure.
Yeah, Jericho.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I told you this before while we were on the topic of Batista, but I didn't fully appreciate Batista when he was
Around.
in WWE in his like initial run. I kind of like tuned out a little bit around then, but yeah, I did go back years ago and like just watched like, you know, his like best matches and some of his best stuff that he did, and I was very wrong because he's brilliant.
Oh yeah, Batista's great, dude.
Yeah.
I loved Batista back in the day. Batista's like one of the things that got me back into wrestling.
Something about it, I wasn't really paying that much attention to WWE at the time, and whenever I tuned in, it was always like big. It was the big meatheads. It was like Cena, Orton, and Batista, and I guess I just kind of like. It left a bit of a bad taste in my mouth, but having gone back and rewatched some of that stuff, that ruthless aggression stuff, a lot of it is really good. And Batista is like a high point of a lot of the time that he was there, basically.
Absolutely. I really think that this was a smart way of bringing him back.
Definitely.
I think that this was the way to go. I think I saw a lot of people. I saw some people on Twitter like, "Oh, they shouldn't have used this nice moment for Ric Flair.
He's already had
to
a
get
real
Triple H and
birthday
Batista
party."
over," and it's like, yeah, exactly.
Here's the thing: he had a real birthday party, and guess what? He's had 70 of them.
Yes, I honestly never, ever expected them to have a real birthday party when this was announced. From the second it was announced, I was like, oh, well, this is clearly going to be the build-up to something, whether it's Becky and Charlotte or possibly Batista and Triple H.
When there's a cake in the ring, it's not a real party. If there's a cake in the ring, someone's going through it. Well, that happened after the show, but still. But you are right. Bringing him back like that was clever, and not having him come out into the actual arena, I loved that they did that, because I feel like they might do that a little bit over the next few weeks, just kind of tease that he's there, like he's going to be like a nuisance, like to Triple H or something like that, you know?
They're like similar. I don't know. It might be too similar to Becky Lynch.
Maybe, but I just can't. I just have like a backstage nuisance.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm not saying I necessarily think this is going to happen, but I would like it if he didn't come down that ramp for a few weeks.
I'm into that. I'm into that for sure.
And then when his music hits, also Batista's entrance music is fucking awesome.
It's one of the best. It's one of the best.
I love it.
Oh my God. I can't wait for WrestleMania when he comes out and does the like thing with his arms.
It's going to be nuts. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait. They have to do the promo for that. They have to.
Yeah.
I'll be so pissed they don't do promo for that. Or did I say promo?
Pyro.
Yeah, sorry. Pyro.
No, they will. The WrestleMania, they use they use their pyro budget for Mania now, don't they, basically?
Yeah, because they always give it to Brock and stuff too. Roman will get it. When he does the fist.
Yeah. It looks really... Some people have entrances that were designed for pyro and then they don't do the pyro and it looks silly.
Like Kane?
Or Rusev.
Yeah.
Like when Rusev does his little jump thing and nothing pops, you're like, oh.
Okay, we're done here. The red light is on. But if you guys are watching on YouTube and you want to if you want to listen to the audio while you're driving in the future, if you can't always watch via YouTube, make sure that you go subscribe on iTunes, Podcast One, every other major platform as well. And while you're on the YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe, make sure you comment, make sure you like all the stuff here. Don't dislike it. Don't be a dick. But if you like it, it helps a lot. If you leave comments, it helps a lot. I read them. I appreciate all of them. So please keep that up as well. And make sure you guys go follow ProWrestlingSheet.com on social media. It's at Wrestling Sheet as well. Norman, where can people find you? Actually, where can people find you at, Norman?
I'm on Twitter at Norman Q. Isn't
there a number in there?
No.
It's just Norman Q?
I got lucky with that, didn't I? At Norman Q. Yeah.
At Norman Q, that's good.
I did well. 10 years I've been on Twitter. 10 years.
Yeah. It's weird to think that it's been that long now.
I know,
at this
it's
point.
wild, man.
Yeah, it's very wild. And you guys check out me. I'm at Ryan Satin as well. Okay, that's it. We're done. Officially tapping out for now. Until next time, stay out of the dirt and keep your eye on the sheet.
ProWrestlingSheet.com